With the release of The Kingsman coming out, and it featuring the historical figure of Rasputin, I've decided to examine several movies featuring this historical figure and explain the historical inaccuracies about them. Now, I'm not going to nitpick every single inaccuracy, I'm just going to focus on the ones that stand out the most to me, and at the end I will say what I personally think about each of these movies. The first one is Rasputin and the Empress from 1932. This one was made the soonest to Rasputin's death, but it's very inaccurate. Lionel Barrymore has taken the characters a bit too cartoonish and crass. While Rasputin did act rambunctious when he was drunk around various people, he always acted respectful every time he was in the presence of the royal family. Another thing that stood out to me was this line from Nicholas II.
I want to share the burden of government with my people. I want to form a Duma, Paul, along the lines of the British Parliament or the German Reichstag.
This is the furthest from the truth, since Nicholas II was very much against having any form of representative government, and only did so when he was pressured with the revolution of 1905. While they did get right the part of him being drowned as the part that really did him in, the party atmosphere is very inaccurate. The party that he was invited to at the Ustav Palace was not a big party, but a small and private one. The second would be Rasputin the Mad Monk from 1966. This one concentrates more on the so-called romantic influence that Rasputin had over Empress Alexandra. There is no historical evidence to back this up, and this was only fueled by the fake news of the day. Aside from that, this movie depicts him being affected by the poison, but this is untrue, since it was one of the servants who was assigned to apply the poison, and it did not work because he gave Rasputin a harmless powder. He did this because he did not want to have the sin of killing a man. Rasputin was not injected with a syringe like the Frankenstein monster, nor were any of the assassins stabbed in the back with a knife. The third would be Nicholas and Alexandra from 1977. While this one features the least amount of screen time that Rasputin has in these movies, it is the most historically accurate depiction of Rasputin. He is not a two-dimensional villain, but the movie is not afraid to show that he was not entirely a saintly figure. The one big inaccuracy is with his assassination. While this one shows him getting shot, this movie doesn't show him running as far as outside, and the assassination was historically a lot more chaotic. The other big inaccuracy that stood out to me is the scene when Nicholas II gets hit by this guy when he's in exile, and I've read many books about the Romanovs and there is zero mention of this occurring. And fourth and finally is the animated movie Anastasia from 1997. This is undoubtedly the most inaccurate version of Rasputin. They depict him as an evil sorcerer, which of course was not true, and he most certainly did not have an albino bat as a pet. While they did get the drowning part of his death right, they show the revolutions of 1917 happening when he was alive, but Rasputin died in 1916. They also make Anastasia a lot younger than she was historically. As an adult, she's 18, but the real Anastasia was born in 1901, and she would be in her mid-20s by the time the main story takes place. So what do I personally think about each movie? Well, Rasputin and the Empress does have an entertaining performance by Lionel Barrymore, but it's not very well paced, and it's more of a cartoonish performance than the animated one. I would give it about 2 stars out of 4. Rasputin the Mad Monk did have a good casting choice with Christopher Lee as the title character of the movie, but it does come off as a run-of-the-mill Hammer movie that just wants to show sex and violence. I would also give it about 2 stars out of 4. Nicholas and Alexandra is the most historically accurate movie in this video, and is the most well made. Even though there are some noticeable production shortcomings, and it can be overbloated at times, it's a good movie with nice performances and with characters that you can emotionally connect with. I would give it about 3 stars out of 4. Anastasia is a movie that I've gone back and forth on for many years in terms of quality. Despite the movie being riddled with historical inaccuracies, I really do enjoy this movie. It has nice animation, characters that feel a bit 90s but likable nonetheless, and some very excellent musical numbers. In fact, it spawned a very successful Broadway musical. I also think it's safe to say that Anastasia is one of several animated women that I saw growing up as a kid that explains why I have a fondness for redheads. I would give it about 3 stars out of 4. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe.